about it. I just try and be my authentic self and go out there and play my best ball. And if that brings out the best in everybody else, then great. But I feel like, we were talking about this. Terry said after the game, he goes out there and plays it like it's his last game he's ever going to play. And I think that sometimes rubs off on people, and they want to kind of match that energy. So, if that's something added to, help the team out, it's great. Because
a lot of players will use a word like grit to describe you. Do you like that? Do you like that description? Do you agree with that?
Yeah. It's kind of been my story growing up. I've always been told I was too, small, not strong enough arms. So I had to find something within me to, make the leap. And the grit has been carrying me for a long time. So it's definitely a big part of my game.
I wanted to ask you if your teammates get a jump from you coming, will you get a jump when Chase gets back on the field?
Oh, 100%. We're all looking forward to that. Hopefully it's any day now, but you always hear him at practice, and he's not practicing, but he's right there in it, and he gets the guys juiced up. So, it's always fun seeing Chase go out there and do his thing. So, we're hoping he can come back soon.
And since the Tampa Bay game when he was the president of your fan club, I mean, how has that relationship evolved over the last year or so?
Yeah, it's great. Again, I remember watching him. I was on the couch watching him at Ohio State. I was like, this guy's a beast. And, my brother-in-law and my stepdad are huge Ohio State fans. They couldn't say enough about him. So, for that year to happen, and then that whole Tampa Bay game, and for him to kind of endorse me the way he did, it meant a lot to me. It meant a lot to my family, and our relationship's great. Logan had his infamous Halloween party on Monday, and he showed up, and we had a good time there. So, me and Chase are real tight.
Taylor, I'm sure you were asked this on Sunday, but when the game starts that way and it's your first game in quite a while, do you have to check yourself to stay in the moment? Does that happen naturally? Are you able to move on pretty naturally, or do you have to remind yourself?
Yeah, I think I can move on pretty naturally. There's a lot of games in college where I threw multiple picks, and I just had to grind through it. And it was kind of good practice for the NFL, because in college we threw the ball 50 times. So you throw a pick, you just have to bounce back and go back to square one. And like I said on Sunday, the good thing about what was happening was I was making all the right reads. The balls just weren't being completed. So, in the second half, I made that adjustment, and, I think we did pretty well.
And then after you looked at the film, anything stand out to you that you didn't expect to see, or did it play back the same way you saw it in real time?
It played back pretty much the same. There's a couple of things I need to adjust that I saw in film. But, if I can get that cleaned up, I think we'll be fine.
Hey, Taylor, when you started starting games here, how much of a help was Terry getting you through those early, you're just learning, you're learning how to go through this process. How helpful was he, both in terms of catching the ball, but also just his demeanor to get you through those early times?
Yeah, he again, I can't say enough about Terry. He's the pro's pro. Everything he does on the field and off the field. He's a guy that you don't want to let down. So, that's part of it. And again, he knows how to talk to you. It's not one of those he's going to get up in your face and yell at you. He's going to approach you in a professional manner, but also put a little fire in your ass. And that's what he did on Sunday. And I can't thank him enough for that.
And when we hear from scouts or talent evaluators about prospects, they're like, yeah, this is a so-and-so type of player, or we're looking for this type of player. I don't know if you're aware, but now, a guy like Sam Ehlinger, he's like a Taylor Heinicke player. This has now been said for multiple guys. Are you aware that you've become a player a comparison?
I don't. That's news to me. I guess that's pretty cool. Hey, being an undrafted guy and then now being kind of compared to, people getting compared to you, it's pretty cool. So I just got to keep working hard, and it's a cool, I guess, accomplishment, you could say.
Last year you got to do the homecoming tour, going back to Atlanta and even kind of going to Lambeau last year. Terry gets to go back to Indy for the first time this week. Is that something you guys have talked about? Can you tell that maybe this means more or just means something to him?
No, I actually wasn't aware of that. I didn't know it was his first time back there, but hopefully again he puts on a show like he did on Sunday. I think that'd be great. I'm sure his whole family's going to be there. So if he can keep making plays like that, I think it'll be a special one for him.
And did you call Logan's Halloween party infamous? Was that the right word there?
Yeah.
What makes it so?
I'm sure you can kind of brainstorm on that one. But, I was Austin Powers. He was Fat Bastard. And we had a good duo going.
Infamous.
You and Logan or you and Chase?
Me and Logan.
You and Logan.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other notable costumes?
Carson was Rip from Yellowstone. I would say me and Logan probably took the cake on it for sure. Yeah.
With Terry, what have you learned about just his competitiveness, his fire? Does that show itself outside of game days as well?
No. After that 37-yard touchdown to him, I've never seen him so animated. Even on the field, he pushed me. He was yelling at me. It was really cool. And then I saw a clip, when I got back to my phone, where he kept going. He took his helmet off. He was screaming. I was like, "This is cool, man. You've never seen that part of Terry. At least I haven't." So, when you see Terry like that, that gets everyone juiced because he's mostly a calm, collected guy. So yeah, again, if we can get him like that against Indy at home in front of his family, it'll be a special one for him.
Nice. I know the phrase lead by example is used a lot, but is that Terry? I mean, just a guy who comes in, does his thing every day?
Yeah. Again, he's a true professional. You never hear anything bad about him. There's not one guy on the team that can say anything bad about him. He's awesome. He's a great friend. He's a great teammate, and again, he's someone you don't want to let down.
Of all the quarterbacks that Terry's played with, you're the one who's kind of targeted him the most frequently. Is that by a per game basis? Is that just the familiarity of getting those extended reps, or why do you think that is?
He's our best receiver, and I just try and give him a chance. He's proven it year in and year out that he can make those plays. So, when I see him one-on-one, I want to give him that chance. And he's continued to make those plays. So, yeah.
Taylor, against the Packers, there seem to be some things specifically in the second half that are maybe new wrinkles from what we've seen recently, specifically some more pocket movement than I think we've seen recently this season. Is that more designed specifically for your talents, or is that just kind of a mechanism of you having more experience in this offense, so being able to unlock more things?
Maybe a little bit of both. I truly don't know the answer, but yeah, I've been with Scott for 6 years now, so I think he understands what I do best, and I understand the offense, and I get what he's trying to look for, what he's looking for, and what he's trying to accomplish. So, we have full trust in each other, and again, part of my game is my legs. So if I can use them a little bit, I think it just helps the offense, all around.
Brian and Antonio both had pretty good games running the ball. We know what a running game does for a quarterback, but those two specifically, what did you see from them, and how can they help you more and more?
Yeah, B-Rob's a bruiser. He runs really hard. I feel bad for those DBs that are trying to tackle him, and you can see it. He's bouncing off guys and running through guys, and he was a great addition to the room. And then AG, just I think 2 or 3 weeks prior, he didn't get that many touches, and he didn't get down on himself. He just kept on working hard, and I specifically remember one play where I handed him the ball. I think it was an outside zone, and he got outside the corner, and he just put his head down and went. And it was a shoestring tackle. If he breaks that one, it's a touchdown. So he's running hard. Those guys are aggressive. And, the more we can put the ball in those guys' hands, good things are going to happen. So, I was very pleased with how they ran the ball.
You talked about your legs being a part of your game. How much of that is not just, being able to take off and run, but also evading pressure and kind of moving around in the backfield? How important is that?
Yeah, I think it's huge. The longer you can extend a play, it's, good things can happen. Also, bad things can happen. But, like I said before, there's that fine line of kind of eluding it and then trying to find a safe option to get the ball downfield. So, if you're not taking sacks, that's not a negative play. So the more we can do that, the better we'll be.
And what is that sense? Is there like a clock or some sense that you have where it's like, okay, I can extend it this much without taking a sack versus, okay, now I got to throw it away?
Yeah, it's kind of a game within the game. At quarterback, you have to know the coverage, throw the blitz, know your hots, and then when you're sitting back there reading it all, you have to maneuver and feel yourself around the pocket. So, there's some times where, like Kenny Clark, he got loose a couple times, and I just kind of duck under and find a hole. It's a strength of my game, I think. It's something I can keep working on, but good things happen when I can do that stuff. So it's something that we practice every day in practice.
Is that
Time for 2 more?
As you've got more and more film out there, in what ways have you had to adjust the most as defenses have learned more about you and adjusted to you?
Yeah, there's a coverage called two-man, which is, 2 safeties high and they're playing man, and usually you only play that against guys that kind of like are pocket passers, like the Bradys that can't really run. And I'm not getting that coverage anymore because of my legs. So what some people are doing now, they have a spy guy, which they might have a linebacker just sitting there waiting for me to escape the pocket, and he's right there to get me. So, when I see that, I know I have to make a play, I have to make a throw, and trust those guys to get open. A prime example of that was the big third down that we converted to Curtis Samuel, 3rd and 11 across the middle. They had a spy guy, number 7, I think the linebacker was just sitting there waiting for me to scramble, and I knew I had to find somebody open, and then I trusted Curtis. He ran a great route, made a great catch. So it's just little things like that. You kind of notice how different defenses are playing you, and you kind of adjust accordingly.
Along those lines, but more of a general NFL philosophical thing, you see more and more teams using the 2 high with the post-snap disguises and everything. From a quarterback's perspective, why is that more difficult? I mean, why are more teams using it, do you think? And what are some of the challenges that you face as a quarterback?
If a defense can disguise what they're doing, it's harder on the quarterback. Instead of knowing what the coverage is pre-snap, you have to kind of look while you're getting the snap, and that might take a half second off your read, and that's maybe all sometimes it takes for a DB to get back into a ball. So, there's lots of disguises throughout the league. Some defenses are a little bit more basic, but they're very solid in what they do. Every defense is different. Every Monday we kind of come in, see what the next guys are doing, and go from there.
All right. Thanks, Taylor.
Thanks, guys.